Welcome back to Anna Mondays. This is Gravity Falls Part 2. 2012, obviously continuing from what we talked about last time is when it came out. Starting with episode 6, which starts off with the police, Wendy's dad, McGucket, Wendy herself, Lazy Susan, and a whole bunch of them basically in the diner, which is the first episode. And you just get all these characters introduced.
Lazy Susan.
You get all these characters introduced.
Who knows what that is?
You get all these characters introduced that are going to matter later.
Obviously, they're
the fact that they constantly feed you.
They're storyboarded properly.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the background characters in this show
Come back
and are constantly background characters, have episodes about them. It's Dipper dealing with the fact that he's not the atypical man. And then Stan, who's trying to get with Lazy Susan, who I could have sworn I called Carla in the last review, and if I did, I apologize. But, it's not my fault. He dates like 3 Carlas. But,
You fucked up.
Rabbit season. So you have Stan, who's doing the opposite of what the main A story is doing. The B story is doing the opposite, and it's trying to make him more appealing to a woman, so anti-manning him, so to speak. And it's just a really clever A and B kind of meeting in the middle because one's going this way, one's going the other.
The Manitors?
The Manitors.
Manitor?
The Manitors, they teach Dipper to be a true man. This entire episode, anything dealing with that is fucking priceless. But the point is, everyone has their own version of a man, and it's a matter of being secure with what you deem yourself, which is a major thing later on in this episode.
I mean...
Well, throughout it, but they tell you at the end.
I mean, yes and no. When you think of a man, generally the thematic is...
No, there's thematics, but I'm saying the whole point of the episode is getting over...
what he believes in.
Once again, that's what Stan brings. That's what Stan brings up to him. It's not until Stan says at the end of the episode, flat out, "Well, you stuck by your ways and you didn't let them change it. Sounds like a man to me." Yeah. So you have the Manitors, and just one of the more disturbing things I've seen in these episodes, the main leader rips a spear out of his chest.
Yeah, it's like gooey blue blood. Like that. Okay, this is still like family programming, so like that was visceral for no reason.
Yeah, as we said a little earlier, the moral of you being your own ideal depiction of what you are is really what this is trying to say. It can apply to women too, as long as you're not Wendy and you're trying to be a sloot. But I love Wendy. Just in case it comes across like I hate Wendy, I don't hate Wendy.
She starts listing off all the guys she's went out with.
It's weird.
I don't know if that's a girl thing or not, but I wouldn't remember names like that. I'm not good with names.
Well, at least she remembers the names. It'd be so much worse if she didn't. We move on from that to episode 7, though, and we see, the entire point of this episode is they find a copy machine, and, they make another brutal thing. We can link that to the last thing we said. We see another brutal thing. They make an arm, the arm comes to life, starts crawling around like the Addams Family, and then just... They, like, spill some sort of liquid on it, and it just dissolves in the most brutal, like, woe-is-me fashion.
Oh, yeah.
This episode also gives us the intro to Pacifica Northwest and Mabel's 2 friends.
The worst fucking name. Pacifica Northwest. The worst name.
I mean, it's memorable, and if the show has one thing going for it, it's memorable characters, because I remember every single one of these.
That's like, your parents wanted everyone to punch you in the face.
The Northwest Mansion. That leads me to one of my favorite quotes. You know what name I always wanted? Tyrone!
Tyrone.
I wrote this before the episode flat out says it, so I deserve some credit here. This episode is literally a beautiful physical representation of the young man's inner mind stopping himself from asking a girl out, doing something he's nervous about.
He lists everything, like everything goes according to plan, too.
Yeah.
That's another joke there. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, if I just follow this, it'll be fine.
Doesn't.
Okay, if you were, like, doing a routine or something, like a job, fine, but this is asking another human being out. Nothing's gonna go according to plan.
I know, I've tried. Pacifica wins and shows Mabel the harsh reality, but despite that being, well, once again, a message, we talked about this a little earlier, despite it being a message that kids need to understand, it's not something you should accept, but it's something you need to get. that you are going to be screwed over by people higher than you. You're going to get screwed over by people that think they're better than you, but in the end, they're probably not going to have friends. You probably are. Friends they have, if they have them, are probably going to be bought off.
Wait, that's the whole thing with Mabel in the episode.
Yeah,
right?
Pacifica and Mabel.
Yeah.
Because she winds up dancing with her friends into the night and having a legitimately good time, whereas Pacifica gets to go home, and in episode 8, a guy reveals it's legal to marry birds. Okay.
It's still legal. Like, that was specifically a fucking woodpecker. But it's like, when the joke comes back later with the woodpecker, he's like arguing with it like it's a wife. And it's like, but you always say that. So
Oh, yeah.
Pecking the table.
Yeah, once again, a really good adult joke on top of a really disturbing adult joke.
What you always say.
This episode sees the return of Gideon as well as Pacifica. Pacifica comes back to basically just bitch at Mabel more. She's the antithesis character. But I love that they further the hatred behind both of these feuds in this episode, and it's done in 2 scenes. Gideon with tomatoes.
Oh my god. Just fucking tomato seed.
Oops, I dropped one.
Oops, I dropped one.
Oops, I dropped another one.
Oops, I dropped one. Ah, that on aim too.
Old man McGucket telling the kids to eat books.
Eat the books.
In these hard here times, you gotta eat the books. What?
Does this constitute as book burning? I don't know.
Oh my god, yeah, would that be illegal?
I don't know. Maybe they think it gives them knowledge.
Hey,
to
he
eat books.
creates fucking death devices. The man doesn't give a fuck about
Okay,
legal.
it's true. It's true. It's true. It gives you knowledge.
Oh yeah. Oh my. Oh, everyone eat. Hey, there was a Jimmy Neutron episode about that. Eat books gives you knowledge. Dipper in this episode not only ruins Pacifica. The entire point of it is him ruining Pacifica's family's name. Not only is that the entire point.
He convinces Mabel to do it.
Right.
she's
Which he winds up doing
silly.
in the end. But the point is not only is the entire
She's like, no, I don't need to, and then he's just like, no.
Okay, I'm gonna go do it.
No, revenge is sweet.
But it's just interesting to note that 2 12-year-old heroes are learning about revenge. Their hearts are darkening.
The fucking president.
Yes. I don't have it written.
The best president.
But yeah, the president caught an ambergris, so yeah, it's peanut breadable. Once again, it's ambergris.
George Washington is a douchebag.
Jurassic Park reference. Yeah, what the hell? The moral that I got, at least, was not to underestimate someone even if they are necessarily silly, because in the end two silly people wind up saving the day, which is kind of an overused cliche moral at this point in time. I just gotta point out one of the negatives. It's not that being said, it's not going to turn you off to the series whatsoever. Last review of the last 5, we had one that was okay. I still think a lot of people like it. I still think a lot of people like this one. But it's just probably the weakest of the ones that we reviewed so far today.
Congressman.
Yeah, you're now an official congressman.
You're now a congressman.
I'm legalizing everything!
You know, he's still president.
They brought that up. That's why they have to listen to him. He's still the president.
No, they brought that up, but like they never changed that. So he's wandering around somewhere still as the president.
Also, once again, the alternative of having Mabel, who's the character, as I brought up in the last review with Sweater Town, she's such a pure character that when she gets revenge, it's in her hands. She doesn't want it. She gives it up. Nah, I'm good. You preserve the hero's integrity, and you make the heel more heely.
Yep. Wait, what? Mom?
Yeah, that was so fucked up. From there, we'll meander our way over to episode 9. I think this is my favorite of the 5 we've done. It's easily the most emotional and probably the best as far as writing-wise that we've gotten. Mabel wins a pig while Dipper tries to have a good day with Wendy.
What was the pig's name?
At the carnival? Wattles. I'm gonna bet like $5 because I heard D. Bradley Baker in the, I heard him as an extra in the show somewhere. I would put any amount of money on him being Wattles. The man gets hired for animal noises.
Say Mabel.
Okay, that's fucking amazing. Why would you give away a pig that can do that?
It didn't say Mabel though. It just kept making the same fucking
But it made the phonetic noise of it!
No, it didn't. It did that
It
every
went
time.
But it's always a 2-syllable word. We haven't seen if it can do 3 or 1. Fuck you and your fucking naysaying. When Wendy when Wendy starts dating Robbie, it's one of the main principles of animation to... I think I mentioned this last time, I don't know if it made the cut or not, but it's one of the main principles of animation to really front and center, where the eyes of the viewers are looking at, to show what you are trying to get across probably a little bit more than you would need to. Dipper's face when he sees Wendy start dating Robbie is probably the most emotion I've ever seen in an actual drawing for a kid's cartoon.
Robbie was competing with a 12-year-old for a girl.
Yeah. Well, he has major insecurities. He is emo, and when you see his setup at home, you'll understand a little more later.
Well,
I know
he has major insecurities from the fact he felt the need to post his bullshit everywhere.
Well, yeah, that's
even in the woods.
Good writing. Good writing. They Blendin Blandin with another really awesome cameo voice, this time by Justin Roiland. If you don't know who that is, fuck you. But
I don't know, Rick. I think it's a good idea to talk about Justin Roiland.
Blendin Blandin, voiced by Justin Roiland, Roiland, is introduced to the plot, and wow, he is super important later. Once again, just introducing him a little early, letting you question about the character just enough, and then boom.
It was in all the prior episodes.
He constantly appears in the background like Waldo, yeah. Which is, once again, a nice little touch. I don't know, do Dipper and Mabel? They might. I don't know if they do or not, and I don't want to say either way, because I'll be wrong. But, yeah, they might as well, because they're going... This whole episode turns out to be a time travel episode!
Woo!
Usually those don't pan out. Not gonna lie. I think this might be one of the better ones. You have Dipper with the most selfish thing I've ever seen him do. He bludgeons Wendy's face in.
Multiple times.
Groundhog Day style.
It's like, dude, if you really like her, how many fucking times are you willing to watch her get bludgeoned in the face by a goddamn baseball? Like, is that you like her? Or is it that you want something else because you know you're at that age?
Dipper realizes the only way he can get with Wendy is if he has Mabel's help. So Mabel can't go over and win the pig. Pacifica will win the pig, so it's basically one or the other has to be happy.
He did all that friggin' math, and he couldn't figure out a way where he wouldn't need Mabel's help.
It's the universe, man. It's what had to happen. Do you want the only way to get what you want is, in this case, to fuck your sister over? Are you willing to do that? Hi, my name's Life. I like to fuck people over.
Dipper's supposed to be the smart one. Like, you should realize I'm 12, and she's like... She's a teenage girl.
But that's not about intelligence.
She's much older. No.
Intelligence and acceptance are two different things. And he doesn't want to accept it.
I was 12 when I thought that, so...
It's a matter of denial. He wants to be with her.
Denial's an ugly beast.
It really is. In the episode, like I said, you get to see them go throughout all the episodes. It's really well done. Whether or not they're throughout them in the episodes themselves, I don't know. Dipper and Mabel, right after that, go to the future, which is destroyed, and a giant baby is blowing things up with laser eyes, and hint, hint, wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge.
You have the scene of Mabel, when she doesn't win Waddle, she starts hitting her head, and Dipper's totally willing to let that go, and, hey, I'm happy, you're not. My happiness at the sake of yours? I'm fine with that. And then he goes a day in the future.
I know you, Mabel. You'll be fine today.
Goes in the future.
Okay,
still
no.
You'll
be fine in a week. Okay, no. You'll be fine in a month.
So she has no more brain cells.
Yeah.
And hasn't eaten.
I already said it's been a month and she's in the same spot.
She's the miracle girl. And that's the thing.
She's way dead.
But that's the thing, though. Stan even turns her into an attraction, so she is a miracle girl. They even address it, kind of, that she's fucking a miracle.
You have the miserable girl.
Fucking Seuss.
No, yeah.
What a dick.
Oh, hey, Dipper.
You know, if they pushed that, like really far into the future, that would have made a lot more sense that Seuss was, leading that tour. Thinking about the finale, that could have been a nice little, another nod at it.
Yeah.
But missed opportunities aren't really a negative, it's just a missed opportunity.
No, yeah, missed opportunity there, and also the plot hole involved with all this.
Oh, what? Which one?
Where he could have just taken Wendy with him. Like, if he had just grabbed Wendy and they all went back in time together and then got Waddles, it would have all been fine.
Oh, yeah, they show they absolutely show that multiple people can use the stick at once, so...
Yeah.
Dipper wins the game with Wendy. Yo, hold on to this with me.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that...
And you get to look like a total badass because you're a fucking time warrior. Lolf and Dungren are cool, because those are names. The time police come in and arrest Blendon Blandon, and their names are Lolf and Dungren, and it's the greatest thing ever.
That's how the kindergarten cop rules.
So our last episode is episode 10. We have Seuss, who takes Stan, Mabel to the arcade, and I thought this is a nice little Easter egg. You see Bill in the arcade. It's a weird cameo way before he should even be there. It's just slightly a different color. I'm curious to see, I'd like to ask the guys if they had the idea for Bill to be that color and that just changed, or if that's just like a game made about Bill. Fight Fighter. Great. I've seen plenty at this point in time of Street Fighter parodies.
Blonde Ryu.
I've seen plenty of Street Fighter parodies.
Dude, those were Ryu's.
This one's amazing.
Those were all his animations, dude. They flat out stole that shit.
The jokes that they made, the jabs they threw at it, it's just fucking amazing. Never underestimate that I have punches!
I have punches!
The cliche fight between guys who both like the same girl, that's annoying for a good show. That is way too cliche. We get a good joke out of it, but is it really worth it? But it's interesting writing because the reason why they can't fight is because of Wendy, and Wendy's dad is who she is, so it explains why she doesn't like fighting, as she says in the episode.
The fighter, though, was funny. You did not kill your father? I like how Dipper was like, yeah, I lied to you. You technically didn't. You kept saying no, and he wouldn't drop that. Like, and then...
Well, situationally,
and then he killed your father.
Yeah, sure. Still saying yeah.
Sure.
Still saying yeah.
No, because yeah, sure.
I get what you mean.
Yeah,
you're
sure,
right.
because he's like, he's not getting it, whatever.
The ladder gun line. You mentioned comedic, you mentioned funny in this episode. This is probably one of the more comedic.
Ah!
What?
The heights.
Oh, yeah, but no, specifically
Oh, I ain't scared of heights anymore.
He's going to, he's like dusting something, and she's like, why don't you get a ladder for that? And he's like, what are you, sick? I don't know what a ladder. There's like some sort of fact, like 90% of accidents happen because of ladders. That's why I own 10 guns, in case some sicko ever tries to sneak in a ladder. Going back to the, Rumble, the Fight Fighter character, who's a parody of Ryu, he's like, I need health! So he just gives him the taco, and it's like, what do I do with it? Place it on the ground. And he puts it on the ground, and he squats, and it disappears, goes into his inventory, and eats it through the inventory. The fact that they use real logic with it makes it that much more ridiculous. Go on.
As they were, like, chasing Robbie, and, as Dipper was chasing, what's his name? Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble.
Rumble starts picking up the shit off the street to use as weapons.
Oh, the pipe?
Yeah, he had like the pipe, and he was like, I punched like a crate or something.
I punched an oil drum!
Street has some really dangerous stuff lying around, and it's just like that was like a joke at how like in old style also beat 'em ups, you would just pick up random weapons just on the street.
I remember back to the TMNT arcade game days where you'd kick a legitimate oil drum and it would drop pizza. I'm not gonna fucking eat oil pizza. Between ruining Pacifica's family name and getting Rumble to almost kill Robbie, Dipper's going fucking full Bill. What the fuck, man?
Why didn't Bill make a deal with him?
We not only get another Street Fighter reference, the car. Thanks for buying my new first car, Dad. And then they make fun of the bonus level that would just be destroying a car. It just comes in, breaks the car.
The E-Honda.
Yeah, the E-Honda, yeah!
Literally all the animations.
But you have that, and then you also have a Donkey Kong reference with the barrels.
Oh yeah, the barrels.
Rumble's moment of realization when Dipper lies to him, and then the antagonist in his mind switches from Robbie to Dipper.
It like goes anime.
The serene yet beautiful like off-screen head tilt with a beautiful like colored background.
Sunset.
He lied to me.
I told my sensei I would never do those things.
My sensei will all be disgraced.
I told my sensei I would never go down the path of evil.
It's so good!
But I have been tricked by a child.
You can just tell, we're probably going to say this a lot in other reviews, you can tell You can tell when someone's a legitimate fan of a medium or not. And there's some really clever things done with that I've never seen done before, like Seuss trying to fuck with the health bar. It was worth a shot, dudes.
It was worth a shot.
The falling to the ground bit that you mentioned, where it's like, he's going, and since it's a 2D fighter, he tries to look up, I have no looking up animation!
Oh, looking up animation.
And just falls flat on the ground, and now
he's stuck
projected,
on the ground.
Projected to that flat plane.
That would be more terrifying.
Yeah, right? You can't walk on the floor ever. You get your ankles punched out. Oh my god, it's like fighting Oddjob in GoldenEye for the rest of your life!
What the fuck? Yo, you play Oddjob.
No,
We're done.
Never. We are not friends anymore if you pick Oddjob. They have a great stab at all the ridiculous game names for Street Fighter with Super Power Ninja Turbo Neo Ultra Mega Multi Hyper Alpha Meta Extra Uber Prefix Combo.
Prefix?
Yeah, the prefix one gets me every time.
Does it?
No kid is going to get a Cold War reference, by the way.
What was it? We need a
Cold War pact for me and you and Wendy.
Yeah, Cold War pact.
That sounds logical. Now, excuse me while every 12-year-old Googles Cold War pact. And then in the end, they, as we mentioned earlier, and this will probably get repeated, they learn to hate each other in silence, like girls do. That'll do it for this week's Anime Mondays. We'll see you next week. We're doing Futurama Part 1 next week, so...
Dun, 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 dun.